Place to be Nation, welcome back to the second episode of the NBA full 82 game 2019-2020 season simulation. I am Callum once again back to take you through this journey that we're going to have had the NBA not been the NBA season not been completely curtailed by the thing going around, shall we say, not for the want of potentially YouTube picking up me saying the C word, as it is apparently done to people. Not that it's probably going to trickle its way down to ourselves, but it's always best to be on the safe side. Thanks to everyone who's given feedback on the last episode. I'm going to take everything on board, both positive and negative or otherwise, but on the whole it has been positive stuff, so thank you very much for that. Please leave feedback. I'll take on as much as possible. In particular, there was one on YouTube that said it would be best if I could try and get a second person on. I wholeheartedly agree with that. One, because you don't want to listen to me ramble on about something that I don't particularly have a great knowledge of for 20 minutes, half an hour, however long it's going to be. Plus, it will bring a wee bit of basketball expertise. As I said in the first one, I don't particularly know a lot about the intricacies of basketball. I know all the big players, I know who's a good team and who's a bad team, and I know sort of the basics to slightly best in basics. If somebody's teaching basketball 101, I'm possibly 102. If that's the next level up on that, I do know a wee bit, but I don't claim to be an expert in any way, shape or form. So that's something that I'm going to try and implement for everybody if possible. So I think we should just get straight into it. The last time out we went through October 22nd to October 24th. That was to make sure that everybody got a game in. It all started with, we did watch the last time, the Clippers against the Lakers. That's why I've got the Clippers up here. Clippers are 1-1. To make sure that everybody got a game, some teams have had to play two. Clippers started off with a defeat at home to the Lakers, but then got their win back on the 24th against Golden State. So I'll run through October 30th. I think I'll just play sort of this middle day. I am assuming that's a Thursday, but I could honestly not tell you unless it's told me here and I've just not noticed. I'll play through this middle day as my starting point every single time. So tentatively scheduled, we will watch one of the games. It is going to be the Bucks against the Celtics on the 30th, unless things happen in the interim. I know Golden State started with a defeat, but they've got a couple of games to make up on in this 7-day period. So we may chop and change, but tentatively we will be watching the Bucks against the Celtics on the 30th. So games on tap for the 25th. We have got this game here. Now I can never tell what the teams are. Oh, come on. Anyway, the Celtics are playing there. That might be the Raptors, but I could honestly not. I could be completely wrong there. You've got the Wolves against the Hornets. You've got the Knicks at the Nets. So that's going to be a local rivalry there. You've got the Bulls against the Grizzlies, I believe that is. That could be Dallas against the Pelicans. There's that one there. I'll need to get better at these, and I will get better at these against OKC. So they've got up against the Thunder. You've got the Suns also in action. The Portland against Sacramento, and you're finishing up with Utah against the Lakers. So answers on a postcard. If you can tell me what these logos are, I would much prefer it if they had the if they had the names on there as well. But who am I to tell 2K what to do? That is the Washington Wizards. I've just seen that there. I'm just going to flick through here. Please bear with me. It's not the Hawks as I thought, so it must be the Raptors, I'm guessing. It is. So we've got the Raptors there, and I think I may have. Oh no, it was Dallas. Right, okay, so perfect. So we've got these. I do apologise for the tangent I've gone there. If anyone has ever listened to any of the podcasts that I'm ever on, tangents are what I do. So what I'll do, I think I'll just go right down to this very last game here. That's going to be the Lakers. I think I'll need to come back out of this and go to the Lakers on here, and we'll just simulate through this day here. Oh, there's the Jazz, so they're playing the Lakers, aren't they? Yes, they are. So I've gone on the wrong date. We'll simulate through the date there. So, unfortunately, the Jazz have picked up a defeat there. So they dropped to 1-1. The Raptors defeat the Celtics 124-122. They go 2-0. The Celtics drop to 1-1. Not a big deal dropping games at this point in time. You just don't want to get into that habit. Losing does become a habit, as it seems to have gone for the Hornets and the Knicks here. The Hornets drop another game at home to the Timberwolves, 113-102, and the Knicks on the road beaten by 20 at Brooklyn. The Bulls drop to 1-1 as the Grizzlies go to 2-0 with a 117-111 victory. You've got the Mavericks picking up another win, this time on the road at the Pelicans, and the Thunder win at home to the Wizards. So teams picking up wins here just to get their season off and running. Suns pick up their first win of the season, beating the Nuggets 125-118, and the Blazers do likewise at the Kings, 129-122. Lakers off to a flyer. They're 2-0 with another win over the Jazz, as we said there, 117-107. So teams getting off to a flyer, as I said, what you don't want to do is get into the habit of getting beat. That is a tough habit to break. So the next day after that, we are looking at, that would be the 26th of October. You have got the Heat against the Bucks. So the Bucks at home, looking to improve on their 1-0. The 76ers looking to pick up their first win of the season on the road at Detroit. You've got the Magic looking to do the same in Atlanta. Celtics looking to get into the plus column at home, away to New York in the Garden. The Raptors looking to continue their good start to the season at the Bulls. The Pacers looking to pick up their first win of the season at Cleveland, who are 1-0. Pelicans struggling to start the season. They're looking to pick up their first win, as are the Rockets, but they've only played the one game so far. So one of those teams is going to check a mark in the win column. Wizards again looking to pick up the first win of the season. The Spurs, Sacramento and Utah are looking to get in the positive column. They're both 1-1, as are the Clippers and the Suns. Of course you can all see that, but if you are looking to go double duty, if you're not paying it, if you're not watching, or you're at work and you've got it on in the background, I like to just spell it out for everybody as well. So again, I'll just simulate. Today it's difficult to sort of pick one of these games because it's still early doors in the season. So I'll just go for Sacramento, as The Rock was once famously said. And Utah get beat again, so Sacramento are looking to get to May, and maybe they can beat the Lakers in May. Again, as the Rock once famously pointed out. So the Heat drop another game. They drop to 0-2 as the Bucks again continue a good start to the season. That was looks like a fairly one-sided game. It looks as if the middle two quarters, well, the last three quarters have really. The Heat were actually winning after one quarter, but then kind of fell away. The second quarter has really done them damage. So the Bucks move up to 2-0. 76ers, they get a win on the season by 40 points. An absolute demolition of the Detroit Pistons. So 76ers get their first win of the season, as do the Orlando Magic, 113-105 over Atlanta. The Knicks, tough start to the season continues. They are 0-3 now after being beat by the Celtics 125 to 90. The Bulls, they improved to 2-1 over the now 2-1 Raptors, 122-114, and the Cavs continue their unbeaten start to the season, 2-0 over the Pacers, who've lost their second game of the season, and a tight one there, 119-113, and an even tighter one. The Pelicans get their first win of the season on the road at Houston, who are 0-2 to start the season, 129-128 in Houston. The Wizards also get their first win of the season. They are off the mark, winning on the road in San Antonio, 112-98. The Jazz lose their second game of the season. They drop to 1-2 over the Kings, who improved to 2-1. And the Clippers, they have won 2 in a row now. They win 125-99 over the Suns. So a lot of movements here. It's a bit tight with the Knicks. Obviously, the worst start of the season. Sorry to any Knicks fans out there. They're 0-3 to start, but it's been a reasonable start to the season for everybody else. Chopping and changing with wins and losses. We do still have a couple of teams. So there's the Heat now, not got a win. We've got Charlotte, not got a win quite yet. And of course Golden State there, but they've only played the one game so far, so they'll be looking to get their first win of the season on the road at the Thunder in Oklahoma City there. Battle of two undefeated teams in Memphis. The Nets travel to play the Grizzlies. Portland, 1-1, they will travel to play Dallas, who are 2-0. The Heat, as I said, looking to get their first win of the season, but they are on the road to Minnesota. And Charlotte, looking to get their first win of the season. That'll be an uphill battle at the 2-0 Los Angeles Lakers. So what I'll do is I'll just check the standings after this round of games. I'm trying to. I need to get a team that's playing on that day. There's one there. The Lakers are playing Charlotte. And we'll simulate through here. And it's another win for the Lakers. Comprehensive win, 30 points over the Hornets, who, again, just 0-3. Just still to pick up their first win of the season. And the Lakers are, again, putting a load of points over some unfortunate teams. So they lay a beating. To the Hornets in that one at the Staples Centre. Warriors do get off the mark. They are now 1-1. They won on 131-109 on the road to Oklahoma City. The Nets lose again, so the Nets lose for the first time this season. 123-84 against the Grizzlies, who are off to a flyer. They're 3-0, as are the Dallas Mavericks, who pick up another win, this time over the Blazers, 144 to 101. I was underselling how mammoth their victory was there. And you've got the Heat picking up their first win of the season, to improve to 1-2, 133-123 on the road to the Timberwolves. So we're almost through our first playing week of the season. We'll just come out and we'll go to the standings if I can find them. They're there. So league standings. So In the Western, you've got three teams that are undefeated so far. You've got the Lakers, the Mavericks, and the Grizzlies are all 3-0, having won two at home and one on the road. Grizzlies haven't played anyone in the Western so far, but they're dominating over the Eastern. With 3 wins there. You've got Sacramento and you've got Los Angeles Clippers 2-1 as well, and then everyone else 1-2. You've got Houston, poor start to the season for Houston, 0-2. You can see that they've only got a 5-point differential there, so their games have been fairly tight so far, but no wins. The only stat that really counts is the win-loss column, and they're in a two loss deficit, so they're 2 games off 500. They're actually on 0 at the minute, obviously, because they're 0-2. We'll look at the Western. The only teams who are undefeated are the teams that have only played 2 games. You've got the Cavs and the Bucks, both 2-0, 1 win on the road, 1 win at home. But both have got a fairly sizable point differential there. By the looks of things, 19 and 14 for the Bucks and Cavs, respectively. You've got Brooklyn, who are on 2-1, but they've actually got a negative point differential, so they are picking up wins where they can, playing scrappy. But again, it is the win-loss column that's the only one that counts. And you've got 3 teams in the Eastern Conference who have not yet picked up a win: the Indiana Pacers, the Charlotte Hornets, and the New York Knicks. So both, it's looking very, very sorry there for those 3 teams. They need to pick up wins fairly quickly, or else this could be a very, very short season for them. So we've got the league leaders here. So points per game, Trae Young is leading points per game. For the Hawks, you've got Luka Doncic, James Harden, Zach LaVine, I'll just say, or Levine. Answers on a postcard, please let me know. And you've got Steph Curry. So you've got some of the usual suspects on there. Offensive rebounds per game, Andre Drummond leading the way, with Mitchell Robinson and quite close behind, Jarrett Allen there as well. Tight for the defensive rebounds per game overall. And then assists, Ricky Rubio leading the way with assists, but he's got LeBron James and Chris Paul in close behind them. Field goals attempted per game, 26 to Trae Young. So no wonder he's leading the way in the points per game, because he is thrown up quite a few. You get Check Diallo, Ben Simmons, Alex Len leading the way on your field goal percentage, but again, they're not. They're putting up points, but not as many as the Trae Youngs of the world. Obviously, due to positions, I'm guessing there. So we'll go back there after probably what was a shoddy attempt. A shoddy attempt at going through some of the stats there. This is probably where I'll need some assistance on that. But again, please just let me know how I did, and if it's really poor, just let me know how I did as well, because I've got thick skin. It's, I'm not immune to criticism. So we've got a few more games. I've actually got a fairly packed calendar for the 28th. So we've got a couple of days left on this one. We'll go back to the daily view here. Pacers looked, as we said, they're 0-2, looking to pick up their first one of the season on the road at Detroit. Now I do know this about basketball, that was a fairly fierce rivalry back in the mid 2000s. Yes, so I wonder if the game could put the Malice in the Palace, if they could make that happen at some point, that would be lovely. Knicks looking to pick up their first win this season. They are at home to the Chicago Bulls. So they're hoping to give they're hoping to give the Garden crowd something to cheer. You've got the 76ers and the Atlanta Hawks, who are looking to move into the positive category again. Both teams 1-1. The Mavericks are in a similar position, but they travel to Toronto to play the Raptors, who are currently sitting 2-1. You have got the Rockets, who must be desperate to get off the mark. They're, as I said, 0-2. They're at home to Oklahoma City Thunder, and battle of two teams who are 2-0. One of them will get their first defeat of the season. In this game, it is the Cavaliers who travel to the Milwaukee Bucks, and both teams will hope to continue their unbeaten start to the season. Golden State finally got off the mark with the first win of the campaign. They go across country to New Orleans to play the Pelicans, and you've got the Trailblazers and the Spurs battling to improve their records. Trailblazers are 1-2, Spurs are still 1-1. They've only played the 2 games. Both of these teams in the next match, the Jazz and the Phoenix Suns, are both 1-2, so they'll be looking to bring it back up to 500. I have seen them. Whoever that is are playing Sacramento. I should know this. The Nuggets, yes. So the Denver Nuggets. I've heard of Jokic, but I couldn't picture the badge there. So the Nuggets are travelling to Sacramento, and the final game, Charlotte are 0-3. They travel to the Clippers. So Charlotte are facing an uphill battle to get off the mark on this day. So I'll need to, once I change this to a team who's playing, there is the Nuggets as we were talking about. Simulate through the day, and then we'll get going. So the Nuggets drop another game to Sacramento. That was a fairly convincing one for the Kings there, who improved to 3-1. Pacers lose again to the Detroit Pistons, this time going down 121 to 106, so the Pistons back up to 500 at 2-2. And the Knicks, poor old New York Knicks, just can't catch a break in this one. They are 0-4, who, after being beat 115 to the 105 to the newly 3-1 Chicago Bulls. 76ers take the next game at the Hawks, 118 to 108. So the 76ers move to 2-1, and the Hawks drop to 1-2. The Raptors scrape an overtime victory over the Orlando Magic. They improve to 3-1 with a 104 to 103 final score in Toronto. Magic drop to 1-2. The Rockets finally get off the mark. They are now 1-2 after a 125 to 105 victory over Oklahoma City. So that's them finally up and running and in the win column for the 2019-20 season. Nothing is stopping the Bucks as it is just now. Another comprehensive win, the 30-point victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers, 137 to 107 at home. And the Warriors are bouncing back from that opening day defeat with a 124 to 113 victory over the Pelicans, who dropped to 1-3. The Trailblazers, they improved to 2-2 after beating the Spurs in San Antonio. They dropped to 1-2 after a 130 to 116 defeat to Portland. Another tight one in Phoenix this time, who the Suns improved to 2-2 over the 1-3 Jazz, 119 to 115. And the Kings, as we said, 133 to 106, comprehensive victory to move to 3-1 over the Nuggets, who drop to 1-2. And the Hornets, they faced an uphill battle. Well, I thought they were going to face an uphill battle at the Staples Center, but they come out with a tight 110 to 106 victory over the Clippers, who dropped to 2-2, and then the Hornets, get their first win of the season. So they improved to 1-3. So October 29th, the second to last day of our simulation this time. Sorry if it's been a bit of a lecture or I'm just explaining the obvious because you can see on the screen. But in these early days, there may not be a lot riding on the games. So we'll just move on. 3 games, and this one in our second to last game. You get battle of the teams sitting at 1 and 2. You've got the Hawks, who travel to face the Heat in Miami. You've got the 3-0 Dallas Mavericks travelling to Denver to play the Nuggets, who won their first game the other day. And you get the battle of 2 teams in the Western Conference, who actually not the Western Conference. Don't think Memphis are. Maybe they are. 2 undefeated teams regardless. Memphis Grizzlies are 3-0, travelling to the 3-0 Los Angeles Lakers. So, I think what I might do is, given that game is between 2 teams who are undefeated, we might change to play That Be Our Simulation game. I'll just check the current status of who was it I said we were going to... the Bucks and the Celtics. So the Bucks are 3-0, the Celtics are 2-1. So yeah, I think the Lakers game may be the way that we're going to go. As I said before, this could be this is changeable as what happened, depending on what happened through the week. So we will watch Simcast Live we did the last time. So we're going to be viewing the battle of undefeated teams, the 3-0 Memphis Grizzlies and the 3-0 Los Angeles Lakers. Don't want to control any of these teams. I'll just go Lakers, but I will not do anything. There's a coach mode. So both of these teams off to a strong start in the first full week of the season. We did watch Los Angeles the last time. They came out on top in a tight game, or what turned out, or what at one point was a tight game against the Clippers. So I will just adjust the speed if I can. I can't. Let's try this. What have I just done there? Okay, let me just... I think I'm making changes and I don't particularly want to... Well, Memphis get us off the mark. They've scored the first 2 points of the game. Sorry about the silences here. For those watching, I'm just trying to see if we can increase the speed on this one. Technical issues right at the end of the video, which is not the best. See if I can change my controller here. I've been using the mouse for most of it, but I'll see if I can get the controller for the in-game stuff. Somewhat cagey start for both teams, 4-all at the moment. As you can imagine, neither of these teams are even this early in the season will be wanting to lose any games. You would like to continue your unbeaten start for as long as you can. There we go. So I've managed to get this all. Oh, sorry about that. So we're now playing slightly quicker. James with the attempted, I believe it was an attempted 3. It was quite close to the line there, and still parity so far, 6-all. Obviously the games that we watch, because they're not full, accurate time simulations. But I suppose I could change if we're going to watch it like this, and it's going to be on. It's going to be on a simulation at this point, which we can speed up and slow down. Then we may be able to do that, no problem at all. So please let me know if you want to, if that's important to you. Then we can change it for accuracy, because these could be low scoring games, the ones that we watch, purely because the time is, I think we're only going 50% at best on half length in real time. So we're coming close to the end of the first half. We've got just under a minute and a half to go. Still 10-all. So both teams. Not so, cagey start may not be the correct time, but they're definitely, you can tell they're both two very good teams who are matching each other quite well so far. Grizzlies go back ahead 12-10. As we're coming close to the end of the first half, first quarter, sorry, got 24 seconds left, so Lakers can just run down the clock here if they wish, but they do need some points. But they've got most of the time in this quarter left. James just messed about with it on the edge here as he throws one up, and that is the end of the first quarter. So Memphis are leading here 14-10 at the end of the first. But that's good to get the first points of the quarter on the board there, as Memphis throw up and miss a 3 there. So Lakers back on track here. They were down 4 at the end of the first quarter. They're now back on level terms, 14 points all. As we've got just over 4.5 minutes of quarter number 2. Have we got... Nope. Thought we were going to have some free throws there, but not to be. Rondo was getting in the paint there, but didn't quite make it. That's a big score there. So the Lakers back in front now, but the first time in a while that they're back in front. Grizzlies holding their own here, 16-all, as we've just got 3 minutes or so left, just under 3.5 minutes now of the second quarter. We've got a couple of free throws for Anthony Davis here, makes the first, and makes the second. So Lakers back in front by 2. Lakers holding on to it. They got to get a shot away and missed the 3 there. I believe it was a 3 again, quite close to the paint, and these logos are quite big, so I can never really tell if they're in or out. Lakers on the break, and it falls in eventually. So 4-point game now for Los Angeles. More free throws. Dwight Howard makes both of them, and there's a bit of breathing space now between the two teams. Lakers up 6. Oh, here we go. We're just starting to. Starting to get a bit more breathing space, as we said. That's Memphis' first bucket in a while. But it's now back to a 6-point game. But Los Angeles controlling this, completely controlling this as we're coming to the end of the first half. Now an 8-point game, up 26 to 18. Los Angeles are now having it all their own way. Memphis can't really get anything going here. Another missed shot. But they make a big 3 at the end of the first half there, and brings it back. So it is a 5-point game, 23 to 28 at half time, in favour of Los Angeles. Again, Memphis getting the first points on the board of the second half. That's not given a foul made in the act of shooting there for Memphis, so no points given there, and it only gives Los Angeles a chance to increase their lead. So it's now an 8-point game here. Memphis run out of time to do make it, and they're back. Pull one back. The Lakers call a timeout with just under 4.5 minutes to go on the clock. Memphis coming back into it now. And they missed a free throw, so it's still a 3-point game. Missed the free throw. So 37 to 32 as we've just got 3 minutes, or 37 to 34 as it is now, with 3 minutes of the game still to of the second half of the third quarter still to play here. So Grizzlies call a timeout, but we won't be stayed for that though. So 39 to 34 in favour of the Lakers. Still everything to play for both teams. We are still only in the third quarter. We're coming to about 2.5 minutes in the third quarter still to play. So we've got a... Ooh, I thought that was a... No, it seems to be a foul on the Lakers there. Both free throws made, so it's a 3-point game now, so Memphis are coming back into it. We saw this with the Clippers the last time, but that's a big shot there. We saw this with the Clippers the last time. The Clippers looked as if they were down and out. Eventually came back and were leading for a time against the Lakers, but it certainly didn't. Didn't last. That's why the Lakers are 3-0 coming into this one. But Memphis could be coming back in here. They have the ball, 3 points in it. Just coming up to a minute to go in the third quarter, and they make it. So it's now back to a 1-point game. So they are coming back. One intercepted. And it's up, and it is down. So it's a 3-point. So from an 8-point deficit, Memphis are now 3 points ahead of the LA Lakers. So we're now back to even Stevens, as they say, at least this side of the pond. So 43 all. That's a 3-pointer that's missed to end the third quarter. So 43 points each. Get into the last quarter. This is going to be a tight one. So who is going to come out undefeated and who is going to lose their first game of the season? The next 5 or so minutes will obviously go a long way to decide that. That will decide it on what's going to happen in this next 5 minutes or so. Memphis have looked good against this star-studded Lakers team. Certainly holding their own 45 all with just over 4.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Dwight Howard with another 2 points in the paint there just underneath the basket. Some lovely movement there, and they do tip it in. Some lovely movement there for the Grizzlies. But you've always got to watch when you've got players the calibre of LeBron James, of Anthony Davis, of Dwight Howard in your team. You've got to be on your game for the full time if you're wanting to defend them. And Memphis certainly have been. It did look for a time that they were going to lose it. Well, they've just gone. They need to start making baskets. Just over 3 minutes to go, and they've made that one. That's a 3, so it's a 1 point game. As the Lakers call a timeout with